Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday evening. It is March 10th, and I actually have new stuff for you guys. So thank you for bearing with me. So who everyone is here? Let me. Whoa, no, I don't want to do that. Nope, definitely don't want to do that. Camera set in 6K. So hope everyone having a good weekend. No one got their power outed by the storms that are coming through. I am going to give you guys a fair warning right now. The power has been flickering on and off all day. So I don't think we're going to have an issue, but it is a possibility. So we'll go through that. So hello, James. Hope everything is good out there in Texas. Yes. So actually, it's funny. Yesterday, I was out pretty much all day. So my daughter, she was in an archery league and she had her tournament yesterday. So it was just basically all day between the tournament and the celebratory dinner and all of that stuff. And by the time I get back, I was like, I completely like passed out. So I mean, we were up from like 5 in the morning to get to the tournament by 8 a.m. Get everyone out and all of that stuff. And then actually just now, so I passed out. I woke up this morning. I'm like, oh wait, like I knew there was a time change happening, but like I didn't realize it was already Sunday. And then actually right now, so I scheduled the live stream earlier today, and then I'm like one of those types of people, like I'm sure there's a bunch of others there. So like, okay, like we'll crap on like cell phones that, oh, it's like, well, you don't want to take the pictures on a cell phones because it's like, it's not as good quality and this and that. And while me being a YouTuber snob, it's like, okay, I have like $15,000-$20,000 worth of camera equipment. I'm like, I'm going to take good photos with my cameras, but none of those photos actually end up getting edited or shared or anything else like that. So today I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me get some of the archery pictures out, because I also wanted to do something nice. So it's not just like pictures of my daughter shooting, but I also took some photos for the archery, like in the group that she was in. So I'm like, okay, let me get some so the group can use it. Some of the parents can have the photos as well. And like before I realized, I'm like, oh crap, it's 9:20. I have a live stream in 5 minutes. So I'm like, let me just push this back just a little bit, because my laptop was upstairs. I didn't have anything prepped I didn't have the computer set up in order to do that. So that's basically the story of setting your time back and why we're starting 5 minutes late. But, oh, hey, Joe. Sorry to hear about your news. So if you're not familiar with what's going on, obviously you can join our Discord server. That is where all the cool SlavGuns kids hang out and we discuss memes. We discuss the current events and news and all of that fun stuff. Where's this one? There we go. We discuss the news, everything else that's going on. Also, there's a section if you do giveaways. There are a bunch of giveaways that people share right on there. So you can sign up for the Discord. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a live chat in a community. So www.slav.ly/Discord. That's going to take you to our server. Along the same line, so spring is finally here. I'm actually getting out there. A lot of our stuff is getting more settled down. A bunch of fires, everything put out, everything's good. So I have 2 videos that are ready to be posted. Actually, they are already posted and approved and all of that stuff. I just need to put together a thumbnail, so they'll be out tomorrow. And then I'm uploading 5 other videos that we did that were shot at SHOT Show. I'm going to get them all out this week. I promise you guys. Channel members will get to see them first. So I think we shot like 4 or 5 videos with Palmetto State Armory. So we're going to get those out. And then the other videos that are ready to go are with it was the Romanian AK company. Yeah, the name just completely drops me right now, but we did a video with them. They are there. and then 5 videos with PSA. Also along the same lines, in 2 weeks, I will be going down to South Carolina to go to the Palmetto State Armory event. So if anyone's out in that area and you guys want to meet up or anything else like that, just let me know, leave it as a comment, and we will do that. So we're going to have a whole bunch of those videos, and the rest of the SHOT Show videos are going to get published. And then also, actually, end of last year, I filmed like 4 gun reviews that were never edited. They are going to get published. And then and the reason why everyone's here, besides to support me and just because it's a family, I went out to the range, had a enjoyable time trying to sight in and get some first shots with 5 new guns. Some were a little bit more fun than others. One of them actually didn't even get a chance to shoot. So went to the range, and I brought with me the 2 new Ruger American Gen 2s. So the Ruger American Gen 2 Ranch in 7.62x39, the Ruger American Standard Gen 2 in 6.5 Creedmoor. I have the Ruger SFAR in 6.5 Creed, and the Darkstorm Industries DSI MFR, which is the modern fighting rifle, which we already did a video on. So I brought those out to the range. And then also one of my friends who's actually gone to SHOT Show with us, he actually needed some help. So he brought his FN Scar, the big one, the 17H, is 15. There's 15 and 17. Okay, it's the big one that shoots 6.5 Creedmoor. Oh my God, that thing is so awesome. So he was going to be competing in a beginner PRS match. So what we needed to do was verify the 100-yard zero, swap out a new scope, verify the 100-yard zero, and then we needed to verify the holds out to 700 yards. So we were kind of doing that, and I basically am like, okay, it's like from 500 to 700 yards. Targets were getting smaller. I'm like, okay, like he went like, hey, why don't you shoot? And I'm like, okay. And honestly, like I'm amazed with the Scar heavies. The accuracy out of those guns is pretty damn superb. So with the Scar, and we'll go through all of them. So one of the first things that you notice about the Scar, so I shot it in 308 and then now shot his 6.5. The first thing that you notice is, especially when you're shooting against other large frame AR-10s, is how soft shooting those guns are. They are extremely soft shooting. So you have the gas piston in there. Sorry, close your comments so I can stay on top of them. It's a gas piston system in there. So it takes a good chunk out of the recoil, almost to the point of it almost feels like you're shooting like a 223 or a 6.5 Grendel bolt gun. Gun comes back to zero fairly quickly as well. But the astounding part, once again, it's the accuracy. So at our range, we have steel all the way out to 720 yards. And they're pretty much like at every 100-yard increments until you get to 500. Then we have 500, 550. Then it goes up to 630 and then back to 717, depending on from which angle of the shooting line that you're shooting. And from 500 out to 700, we have like a variety of targets. And at 630 in particular, we have like a standard size Zipsic plate. We have a mini one, and then you have a couple of small circular gongs. And then you have this like rectangular bar, which is only about like 3 inches high. And the Scar was smacking it right in the middle of that bar. Nonstop. And then like, okay, let's go for like the small little circular plates that are on there. And then just moving back out there. Like it was pretty awesome. And it wasn't even hand loaded ammo. It was factory So we started with Factory Federal Gold Medal match, and then we went to Hornady match ammo, and it was just superb. Super cool gun. It's like on one hand, I'm like, okay, do I want to spend like what is it for like 4,000, 4,500, whatever they cost? I'm like, I'm like, you did get a pretty good deal for about 3Gs. If I can get an FN to send us a media gun, I think that would be really, really cool, especially to compare to the other guns. But what I was really excited about was comparing it side by side to the new Ruger SFAR in 6.5 Creed. So we did videos on the Ruger SFAR in 308. I mean, those are actually like really well performing videos. And the 308, the brake on there is fairly good, but because the gun weighs not a ton, the recoil, I mean, like, it's interesting. Like, I didn't think the recoil was bad. However, a lot of the other reviewers like, oh, the recoil is stout on there. And I'm like, well, okay, it's like it's stout, but I mean, it's not a 50 BMG or 300 PRC or 300 Win Mag or anything else like that. And like, okay, well, what about if you're comparing shooting 6.5 Creed out of like a lightweight hunting gun? So I didn't think like it was that bad, but it's definitely not a 223. And the SHOT Show, when we were in Vegas at the media event, we shot the Ruger SFAR right there, and I was like fairly impressed with how mild the recoil felt on the Ruger SFAR in 6.5 Creed. Sorry. So it's interesting. I did not get a chance to shoot my SFAR, even though I brought it out to the range. And the reason why is the scope that I had that I was going to go put on there. So it's the tracked 4-25, but I didn't have tall enough rings or a one-piece mount. And I was like, okay, like I don't really have the time to take the other rings off and start playing with all of those. So because last time I had it, it was on one of the bolt guns, actually one of the Ruger Precision Rimfire, I believe. So that was that. So I am planning on Wednesday. I will be back out there. It's going to be very beautiful. So we'll be there early in the morning, and we are going to put the SFAR through its paces. So, and I'm going to load up a bunch of ammo. We're going to do the break-in. Might try to live stream it on Rumble or Odyssey, so you guys can be there as well. Definitely can't do it on YouTube because that stream would get completely killed. So yeah, we can't do that. Cool. And then I'm like, it's really weird. Like, it doesn't show like where people are joined from. Like, this platform used to do that before, but no longer does it actually do that. And that reminds me, let me actually pull up Rumble as well, because I know there are people watching from Rumble. And now I can actually see your questions and requests as well. Awesome. And they play ads on there. And now there's another ad from Dr. Oz on my Rumble app. Cool. All right. So that was the SFAR. Speaking of semi-autos, so I also shot the DSI MFR. Oh my God. So like after shooting all the 6.5s and all that stuff, shooting the 223, super mild, super nice gun, absolutely zero malfunctions from round number 1. Flash hider was quite effective. Really, really cool gun. Put a bunch of rounds through it. I did not do accuracy testing on there because the scope I had on there was, I took it off of another gun, and I could not. So between the rail and the scope, the zero was almost like at 300 yards or something like that. And yeah, it just didn't work. Actually, wait, was it a 50-yard zero then? I should have taken it. Now that I'm thinking, like, now that I'm actually at home, I'm like, it was probably a 50-yard zero that would have been fine actually at 300. No, actually, I think even at 300, it was like still like 5 mils high because I had it on a 22, didn't I? Yeah, I think so. So basically, I needed to remove the zero stop because it was the element optic scope and my fix-it sticks kit. Actually, I had 2 fix-it sticks kits there. I did not have the small screw to remove the zero stop. Otherwise, I basically could not even get it to 0. But shooting it without the scope, I mean, it was such a joy. So definitely a really, really cool gun. And honestly, so just got an invite to shoot the local IWI gas gun matches, and I think I'm actually going to shoot that gun in it. The only thing that was really interesting about it, like I'm like so not used to it, is the spring, like spoing, spoing, spoing. So I am going to talk to DSI and see if we can do like a stealth kit in there. Or like a captured spring so that it doesn't go like boing all the time. But yeah, obviously it might kill some of the reliability aspect on there, but it'll be interesting. Now, the real fun ones and the ones that are definitely going to drive the views and all of that stuff, the Ruger Americans. So I had the Ruger American Gen 2 Ranch 7.62 by 39. Got that zeroed in. This is the one I was like, okay, like, do I go 223 or 300 blackout, or do I get 7.62 by 39? I'm like, okay, I want to get 7.62 by 39. Had a bunch of ammo. I thought, like, I mean, people really, really are generally happy with it. But my goal with the gun was like, okay, let's see how far we can push it. And I knew it'd probably be like the struggle bus trying to get it up. And the question was, okay, like, is it going to be the round? Is it going to be the ammo itself? Is it going to be the gun? All of that fun stuff. So got it to 0 at 100, no problem. Started smacking steel plates at 200, no problem. By 300, it was like, okay, like it's not as I start questioning. I'm like, hey, like, is it my skill as the shooter, or like is there something else goes on? And then I shoot the FN Scar. I'm like, okay, no, I can definitely shoot it. It's something with the system. So with 7.62 by 39, I had 3 types of ammo with me that day. So I had Tula ammo that I bought quite a while ago. I had factory Wolf ammo, which looked almost identical, and it was probably the exact same stuff, just repackaged. And then, because keep in mind, so Tula ammo is actually Tula ammo plant is an actual ammo plant in Russia. There's no Wolf ammo in Russia. What Wolf is they are an American importer who slaps their name on a variety of ammo. So Wolf actually imported PMC ammo before. Their 22 ammo is actually either SK or they did Lapua in the past. And then for 7.62 by 39 and all those, they would just go to whatever Russian ammo plant is going to be able to provide it for them, and they would do that. So that's why it wouldn't be surprising. Like that 7.62 by 39 was exactly the same thing as the Tula ammo that I had before. And then I had some 7.62 by 39 in brass cased by Lapua. Now that stuff I actually bought at an auction, so I don't know, and it didn't come in the original containers, so I'm assuming it might have been hand loads because when I shot it, and I didn't. So first time out to the range in like 3 months, new truck, so I forgot to bring my power bank, so I couldn't run my lab radar. But when I shot the new stuff, it was like significantly slower, because I mean the drop on that was quite a bit lower, and it was like so super soft shooting. So I'm guessing that was probably reloads. But I digress. So I was able to get it out consistent out to 300 yards, but beyond the 300, it was just like all over the map. And I am guessing it was most certainly the ammo rather than the gun. because out to 100, it would actually grew pretty well. Now, it's a 7.62 by 39, it's a 16-inch barrel and all of that fun stuff. So it's interesting. I mean, like, I don't know if I have like unrealistic expectations on it, but like my expectations were that we can take the 7.62 by 39 Ruger American Gen 2 and go out to at least 1,000. And after shooting 3 different ammo types, it's, I mean, let's put it this way. We can get a lucky hit at those distances, but the variance in the ammo just like seem to be all over the map. And I mean, let's put it this way. It looked a little freaky. I'll show some pictures. I mean, we put an Accutech bipod on the short Ruger American Ranch 16-inch barrel. But beyond that, I will say this gun was super soft shooting. It was so fun. I absolutely get it. Shooting 7.62 by 39 out of a bolt gun. And I can absolutely see how, I mean, when it was smacking steel at 100 and 200 yards, I mean, there was a good amount of oomph on there. Definitely would be a really good East Coast hunting gun in that cartridge. And I mean, you have acceptable accuracy at those distances. What was interesting, so when we're doing the groups on that, and like I didn't do them officially, I just like was citing it in. I'm like, hey, look, it's on paper. Let's actually just put a group together. I mean, it would put like 3 or 4 touching, and then there'd be like 1 flyer, but even that 1 flyer was like still, I think, sub MOA. So once we get the gun broken in, I still have a good amount of both ammo left over. We're definitely going to do that, and I am going to start trying to do some hand loads. And what I think I might do is take some of that 7.62 by 39 ammo, pull the bullets, and then load them into the brass cases on there. So that's on that one. The 6.5 Creedmoor, I think I got it sighted in, but I didn't have like a ton of rounds through that because I honestly did not have a bunch of plinking ammo for it, and I hated burning like match grade stuff through that, especially since we're going to be saving it. So over the next couple of days, I'm going to load up a bunch of just like burn-in ammo, and then we'll actually get it. But interestingly, so the first, so I have 2.65 Grendels, 1.65 PRC, 1.65 PRC, 1.65 Creed. Okay, I have 4 Gen 1 Ruger Americans, and so 2.65 Grendels, 1 6.5 PRC Go Wild, and 1.65 Creedmoor Predator, which I rescued from a local gun store. Actually, I haven't taken that one out to the range yet, but we will for the comparison video. So when I got the first Ruger American Gen 2 that I got, it was the 7.62 by 39, and like I'm playing with this, I'm like, okay, like we have all of these upgrades. I'm like, okay, the bolt, is it smoother? Yeah, it's smoother. However, then when I opened up the standard in 6.5 Creed, you can really tell the difference. It's like, oh my God, there's like such a difference between the Gen 1 and the Gen 2. It was interesting. So maybe it's because it's like the shorter action, or like the throw on there is a little bit different, but like working with the ranch in 7.60 by 39 and then going to the 6.5 Creed, the 6.5 Creed just felt so much smoother and easier to work with. It was just weird. And like I'm like, okay, like when I picked up that, so like honestly, like when I got the 7.62 by 39, that was before SHOT Show. I'm like, okay, like you have all of these other upgrades on there. So I mean, you have the spiral fluted barrel, it comes with a muzzle brake. The stock is a little bit different, 3-position safety. I'm like, okay, like those upgrades kind of make it a little bit nicer, and you have a Cerakote finish, but I'm like, the action, it's smoother, but I don't think it's like that mind-blowing of an upgrade. However, then when I got the 6.5 Creedmoor, and like you play with that and you compare it to the Gen 1, it's a massive difference. So I don't know if it speaks to the quality control differences or there's just something between those calibers. Maybe it's just a 7.62 by 39. I don't know. I will say basically you still have the same issue with the 7.62 by 39, like as you do with like the 6.5 Grundles and stuff with the light chassis. When you're trying to unlock it, it's like the gun tilts over to the side. So I mean, like I still have to like hold it with one hand and like try to like get it out there. Now, in full fairness, some of the 7.62 by 39 ammo might or might not have been flooded before, but it still worked. The Wolf ammo definitely was not flooded, but the Tula ammo did somehow get a little bit of water in there. The cases were a little rusty, but it still shot. That talked to you about like the differences with it. So definitely am excited for for the 6.5 Creed, and so next week we're definitely going to have it out there. I have no doubts the 6.5 Creed is going to be easily at our range out to 750, 730, no problem. And then we'll have it out to 1500. But like I said, the pet project is definitely going to be the 7.62 by 39. I want to know, like, is there going to be like good factory 7.62 by 39 match type ammo, or you're pretty much going to have to hand load it in order to get acceptable accuracy. Acceptable accuracy past 300 yards or past 500 yards. Because like I said, I mean, if you can get that out to like 1,000, that would be awesome. That'd be really, really, really cool. The other calibers, I have no doubts about that. And hopefully we do that before I get my hands on the 22 ARC. Because like I said, having shot that, I'm like, oh my God, this thing is freaking awesome. It was really, really, really cool. Great question. So Buzz had a question. Can you even find 7.62 by 39? Yeah, there's actually a lot of 7.62 by 39. So a lot of the stuff so keep in mind, before the sanctions on Russia, there was a leniency period. So it wasn't just like a hard cutoff. What it was basically, it was a hard cutoff for placing orders. So any orders and any import paperwork that was approved before that date, it could have come over the next couple of years or whenever. It just needed to be, that import of that purchase order needed to be approved before that date. So we're still getting a whole bunch of that ammo. And a lot that basically that window, that buffer time that came in, allowed a lot of the production to ramp up both here in the United States. It allowed production to ramp up in Turkey and other former CIS Soviet states, such as Uzbekistan. And you have a lot of the ammo for 7.62 by 39 coming from there. So there's plenty of 7.62 by 39, and you can still get new production Wolf stuff that still comes from Russia. And if you look at auctions and all of that stuff, there's a crap ton of 7.62 by 39. Now, if we're talking like other com block calibers, like 5.45 by 39, that's going to be different. That's going to be difficult because like 5.45 by 39 pretty much is, I'm not going to say it's a practical round, because I mean, it's really competitive to the 223 in terms of ballistics and what it's supposed to do. However, I mean, you don't have Ruger American, you don't have hunting guns chambered in 5.45 by 39. It's only like a lot of the AKs. So I mean, that stuff was unobtainium to begin with. It's even more difficult to find. So it's tougher. It's basically, it's tough for that. Same thing like 7.62 by 54R. I would freaking love to do like a match gun in 7.62 by 54R. That's going to be tough, but there's plenty of stuff already out here for it. And as far as hand loading, it uses basically 311 bullets. So the same stuff like 303 Brit and all of that stuff, you can use that. You can pull a lot of bullets. It's not that unobtainium. And in a pinch, if you really wanted to, you can use 308 cal bullets. Although some people say, okay, you're not going to get as good accuracy, but if you look on the forums, there are plenty of people who do get pretty acceptable or pretty good accuracy with it as well. And we'll definitely play around with that because I have a lot more 308 cal bullets that would be decent for it. And out of a bolt gun, it would be really, really cool. Yeah, it's a little bit slower cartridge. I think it's like 2300 feet per second out of like 120 grain. 120, 123, 130. But what would be interesting is actually I talked to the one of my contacts at Ruger, and he was like, what if I take some 7.62 by 54R 180 grain bullets and load them into 7.62 by 39? In a bolt gun, I mean, the length would not necessarily be an issue. We'd be sacrificing speed, but is it going to give a little bit more stability to get a higher BC bullet? So like I say, I mean, that's why it's so peculiar. It's almost like, okay, since you guys don't want me to do a 45 gap project, I'm going to do something interesting with this. We were going to throw it into a chassis and all of that fun stuff. Reminds me I need to get a new chassis because my chassis wouldn't work for it. I got to check the MDT from Brownells. Maybe that might work. So as basically companies discovered, same footprint, but because of the new three-position safety and trigger, you can't use some of the Gen 1 stocks. So yeah, it's interesting. But like I said, we were definitely going to have that. I'm going to try to get it out as quickly as I can. And we're going to live stream some of that stuff on Rumble and on Odyssey, so you can actually be there right at the range. And then once again, so okay, so Buzz said like ICD may have something. Yeah, ICD is probably one of the bigger companies that does chassis for the Ruger American platform. But categorically, I am not going to do anything with ICD. And that's going to be a members only stream if you want the details. Ta-da. But the other one, honestly, like what I really, really like is like for cheap, I like the KRG Bravo chassis. I think they're cool. It's like for the value, the KRG Bravo is going to be very difficult to beat. Very difficult to beat. All right, so then 6.5 Grendel Standard American. I have no doubts that's going to be a really, really good gun. But honestly, it's like you still need the tchotchkes. I mean, like the bolt handle. Well, the bolt handle is interchangeable, so we just need to put on a bolt knob. The trigger is okay. I'd still probably put a Timney in it. It'll be interesting. But and honestly, the other one, like, and I'm gonna try to grab it or like see if I can borrow it or have to keep bringing my friend Alex over. And that is, I want to compare the Ruger SFAR and 6.5 Creed to the FN Scar in 6.5 Creed. I'm super excited about that gun, and I wish I can play with it here, but like it's YouTube live stream. And like I said, the most fascinating part about the Ruger SFAR and 6.5 Creed, I learned about it at the same time that some of the guys from Ruger learned about it. I'm going through the catalog and like, hey, there's a new release in SFAR and 6.5 Creed. I'm like, there was no public announcements on it at all. So yeah, but after the way that the SFAR in 308 shot, I'm really excited about the SFAR in 6.5 Creed. And yeah, going to try to run it in some matches and swell. Like it's like what completely took me off my feed is the Scar, how soft shooting and how accurate and how decent the trigger is. I really want to be an FN hater, and the whole like 3 different colors of FDE just makes me but those guns can damn freaking shoot. Stupid expensive. but thick and chewed. So I want to see how soft shooting and how accurate the SFAR and 6.5 Creedmoor could be. That's on the new guns. Now, the other new guns that I got that I have not shot yet. So I bought the Winchester XPR Rimfire. So I'm going to do something with that. Beyond that, we have the Ruger Precision Rimfire, Ruger American Standard, and Ruger American Long Range Target. I shot the Ruger Precision Rimfire and I shot the Ruger American Long Range Target. And I got those after that stupid Springfield 2020 Rimfire garbage jigamish thing. My God, that gun sucks ass. And like, I literally bought it. I bought the Springfield because I couldn't believe how bad it was in other people's hands. I'm like, it can't be. Because I mean, like, the gun feels smooth. It's like, it seems to have everything perfectly on paper, the right features, decent enough price tag, and it's like a 2 MOA shooter. It's like, it's horrible. So that video is filmed. That is going to be there. But the long range target, fucking tack driver. That gun is a tack driver. It was as accurate. I think I didn't compare the chrono data because even though it has a longer barrel than the Ruger Precision Rimfire, accuracy wise, I think both of them were like right there, almost with the exact same types of ammo. But the long range, the Ruger American long range target, actually, I should be able to bring it up. Yes, I'm over 18. All right. So I am going to share this tab. Share screen. Okay. So this is the Ruger American long range target. This is basically the problem. Like, they did like limited runs on it. I did a video from SHOT Show 2 or 3 years ago on this. So it's a 22-inch barrel. The gun weighs 8 pounds. MSRP was $739, which means street price was like right around like $499, $500, like right around there, maybe a little bit lower. This gun is basically, it's the Ruger American Rimfire regular one, but you had slightly heavy contoured barrel. You have the target stock, same type of stock as you find on the Ruger Hawkeye long range targets. So you have adjustable comb height, same type of comb piece, wood laminate stock. There's Arca on the bottom. Takes the same Ruger American Rimfire triggers. Beautiful gun. I mean, like, it just feels so right. I mean, it is such a cool gun. But unfortunately, it wasn't super popular. And they just made limited production runs on it. I mean, like, it was a really nice gun. Different bolt handle on it, I believe. So if you can find one, it's awesome. Does take BX25 mags, patent power bedding integral lock, Ruger American Marksman trigger. I love how it says compatible with the Silent SR sound suppressor. Yes, it's 1/2x28, and you can use it with any suppressor that you want, and weighs 8 pounds. So that is part of the Ruger American Rimfire series. So the other one I have is the Standard. So like the Standard, much lower MSRP. So these are going to be $459. These weigh 6 pounds. Still feels a little heavy. Well, that's the bigger one. 22-inch. Okay, I have the 18-inch barrel. Actually, I don't remember if I have the 18 or the 22 on the Standard. And then, You have the target, which is basically in a couple of different stocks. And then obviously the one that's really popular is going to be the Ruger Precision Rimfire. It's basically a chassis gun, but it's still the same Ruger American Rimfire action, just put into a plastic chassis. Now these are going to be 18-inch barrel, so you are going to probably get more velocity out of the other one. It is going to be, the Ruger Precision Rimfire is going to be a little bit cheaper, but this is more like of an AR, so you can change your pistol grip. The thing of it is, and we talked about it with, I'll add a link into this video later on. With Aaron, we were talking like one of the shortcomings with the Ruger Precision Rimfire is even though it's a chassis, it is super flimsy and lightweight, so almost like the gun folds forward. But those prayers were answered, and Sharps now does have a chassis for this guy. Bros, Ruger Precision Rimfire. Okay, so let me make sure I select their website. Okay. So they have a chassis for the Ruger Precision Rimfire gun. So now you can drop that in here, still use your AR pistol grip. You can use your buttstock of choice and all of that fun stuff. And that is going to be really, really cool. So I'm going to try to get one for a little bit later on and just kind of see exactly how much of a difference it's going to make. I think for the guys who are shooting NRL 22 or PRS 22, this is going to be a nice upgrade. And actually, did they have one? Okay, we have the Ruger American Ranch, so we're going to want that. Okay, they have the... Okay, so this, they just added the Ruger Precision Rimfire in 17 and 22 WMR. We have the left hand, and they have it for the 1022, which I think is also like super cool. Because now you can have a truly accurate chassis 1022. So I am going to have to be reaching out to John very, very soon and get this for some of our guns. So you have options. And like I said, the fact that I think this, as far as I know, this is the only Ruger Precision Rimfire chassis. I mean, granted, it adds to the cost, but now you can truly get a kick butt 22 in a chassis and still be around $1,000 or so. And then just upgrade the trigger to like a Timney or something like that. So lots of really fun stuff. So that's pretty much kind of like the bigger stuff that we're going to have. All right, I have, there we go. Okay, I am missing. Yes, the Bravo is a really good value. So I didn't publish the video, but I've shot it out to 300. It was banging steel, no problem. And I think, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back for the drone footage. I think we got it out to like 450, 450 or 500. The long range target is either long range target or is the Ruger Precision Rimfire, one of those two. It was absolutely no problem. So do we run steel cased? It was absolutely no problem. That's for the 7.62 by 39. Okay, so Buzz says, hey, it's annoying that they ask you if you're over 18 now, but it's again carding away to me that makes me giggle now. The reason why for that, and this actually, okay, so this is like a little backstory to this is, okay, like people say, like, why does Ruger launch guns completely differently than everybody else? So like when a new Ruger comes out, you don't have like 50 videos on it. And that has to go back to one of the lawsuits about like advertising to minors. So out of everybody, out of all the manufacturers, so Springfield's privately held, Bergara, all of that stuff, IWI. But Smith & Wesson, Ruger, and now Taurus, they're publicly traded companies. So they have a phenomenon called the activist investors. So the biggest anti-gun people buy shares of those companies in order to try to shut them down or to go to the annual shareholders meetings and start voicing their opinions. So the big publicly traded gun companies, they are concerned to make sure they don't get sued for frivolous stuff, because it's not whether we're going to win the lawsuit or not. Although right now, I mean, you truly have activist judges, so they might actually lose on principle. But litigation costs money. And even though these gun companies are big, they're relatively small still as companies overall. So there was a case about advertising to minors. So that is why those questions are basically there now on that site and pretty much every other gun site, so that the companies are not going to run anything to you. And this is how bad it is. So like anti-gunners would pretend to be little Timmy, who's 16 years old, and like, hi, Mr. CEO, I am doing a project on responsible gun ownership. Can you send me some catalogs? And they would do that. And then they would get in trouble because by a company sending out a catalog that's advertising, and then they're advertising to minors. So that is why that question is there. So what you're saying is if I buy enough Ruger stock, they may build a 6 ARC with a 22-inch barrel. I think they already showed those. So at SHOT Show, they had a Predator sample on display. I didn't catch it, but they had one, and I'm fairly sure we're going to have it in 6 ARC as well. But if you say that, hey, I'm going to want, like, I'll be ready to order 1,500 or 500 of a certain type of gun, they'll do whatever you want to do. But it'd probably be easier just to, right now, get a Ruger American and get someone to spin you up a 6 ARC 22-inch barrel or something like that. That's what I would do. Cool. Along those lines, before I forget, and this is a live stream, so feel free to hit that thanks, the super thanks, or become a channel member. And where do I have it? Ta-da! Patches, stickers are on luxgun.com. They're awesome. They glow in the dark, and once they're gone, they are going to be gone. The other way of getting one of these is I have some open box review sample shooting tripods from Sunway Photo, and I do have them listed on the website as well. And they are marked down with pretty good discounts on those. And usually if you get one of those, I will include a patch or stickers and stuff like that in there. They're still going to carry the full warranty and everything, but these were just open box or an open box return that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. Every single one of them is checked over by me, and that's it. So I have one T3240 CSL, which is the longer one. That's actually my favorite tripod. Have a couple of the T2830s. And then I have a couple of the TL with the twist lock 3240s. So those are all going to be on luxgun.com, and you can purchase those right there. And then all the really cool accessories and stuff you can pick up from Anarchy Outdoors, and you can use our affiliate link, slav.ly/Anarchy Outdoors. And members do get a discount as well. Cool. All right. Okay, even though I know like it's only 9:36, but like but the new time it's 10:36, but I still want to pass out. It still feels like it's really, really late, but that's how you feel like you're getting old. Yeah. All right, so that's that. Okay, so other idea and a question for you guys, and I'm going to be putting it up in a poll, but let me know here. So one of the things I was toying with in the past, so kind of like my background, I used to be like a fairly heavy competitor with the USPSA until I got tired of getting cortisone shots in my wrist. That's why I don't do a lot of gun reviews, handgun reviews, because my wrist, like there's some guns that I just shoot because I have a problem with like over flexing my wrist. So I get shooting pains right through my wrist. So it's like a lot of the rounds, it's like, it's like, it gets a little bit tough. But I haven't done any rifle tournaments and stuff. But what I wanted to do is one of the things I was planning with is a series of doing like a series of trying out, let's say once every 2 weeks, trying out a different match or like a different type of competition. So this would basically span everything from like shotguns to long guns. So let's say, for example, like USPSA, IDPA, maybe even cowboy action, doing like shotgun matches, doing on the rifle side. So I definitely want to do F class. I want to try some F class matches. I was invited to come to the local IWI gas gun series, the PRS matches. I really want to try an precision rimfire match, but I can't find like a lot of those. Fellow YouTubers trying to get me to come down to Kentucky to shoot a 3-gun match. So what I'm thinking is like kind of like having me as like a complete beginner to those match disciplines, to do a series where we talk, and we do some interviews with the people who shoot the matches, doing an interview with the match director, and then actually participating in the match and making like a mini documentary about that type of a discipline. And let's say maybe, for example, like do like 10 of those, like different types of matches, and like just documenting all of those. Let me know what you think on that. And or like what particular matches you would want to do. It's more of a point to go after the Savage model that I would actually buy. So it's interesting. Like, I mean, like Savage, like I actually bought a bunch of Savages, even though like I don't consider myself a Savage person. I know I completely did not do a bunch of stuff with the Savage 110 switchback and 6 arc, even though that gun was stupid accurate. I think I'm gonna push that to the front, like, and go like. I have a bunch of stuff filmed with it. I don't remember honestly, like if I filmed the complete video. I know I have like 4 range days worth of footage of actually shooting all of that. So Savage wise, I have the Savage 110s in 6 arc, 6.5 PRC, which we did, 300 PRC, which is the Elite Precision. I almost rescued a 308, and I have the Savage Axis that I bought, the Cabela Special, in 6.5 Creed. I have a bunch of aftermarket parts for the Savages. I have a Sharps heat. I have the. Is it a Sharps? Yeah, I have a Sharps chassis for Savage short action. So we can either stuff the 6 arc or the 6.5 PRC into that. The 6.5 PRC is the tactical, and the 6 arc is the switchback. The 300 PRC is elite precision, which is already in the MDT chassis. All right, so honestly, like the reason why I'm not crazy about the Savage, like the Axis, I think is just like very cheap, like overbuilt. It's like it's a little too much. It's rough around the edges. It reminds me a lot of the Japanese Maugers, the Arisakas, like that round type receiver for some reason. I'm not a fan of the Axis chassis. I'm sorry, the Axis action. The 110 is not bad, but the fact that the bolt is all the way in the back, it's like I don't think like I'm getting like really, really good leverage on it. Like it doesn't feel that well balanced. And pretty much every single Savage that I bought has extraction issues. Like it's not extracting it reliably, or like it's not ejecting it reliably. But I have 4 Savages, maybe more. And you know what? Like they didn't even give me any of them. Like I actually bought them. Granted, some of them I did buy at a discount. No. So I paid full price for the 6 arc and the Savage Axis, and then the 6.5 PRC and 300 PRC were media price. Done. Just because you told me to, I need glasses so I'm not squinting. And I will say, thanks to you pushing me over the edge on that, I don't get like in Twitch anymore. Yeah, no, it makes a massive difference. And it's like I said, it's not like I'm like, it wasn't the fact that like I'm farsighted or nearsighted. I have a slight astigmatism. Okay, I digress. But yeah, so and that was kind of like the premise behind it too. I have some goodies from Anarchy Outdoors for it as well. So we'll definitely do that. Definitely do that. But I will say, so kind of like beyond that, what I think I have like a guilty pleasure with is Howas. So one of the first rifles that we had on the channel, maybe even the first actual long gun. Let's see. I think actually the first long gun. Let me share this. Share. Okay. God, how do you guys watch that stuff? So I think the first long, okay, well, I guess if you're not copying the TCR 20, if you're not counting that as a center fire, okay, it is a long gun, and so is kind of that. Okay, so center fire rifle, the Sightmark Citadel, that was on the Howard Oryx. Nope, it wasn't that. Okay, it was the second one then. Yeah. Wow, got 50,000 views. So the Howa Oryx was my first Howa and 308. That was from Legacy Sports. That was a media gun. And I was like, okay, I kind of really like it. Since then, I bought Howa 1500 in, well, actually, I had a 6 Creedmoor barreled action that I bought from Brownells and one of those discounts. Then I put it into a Boyd's at once stock. I sold that gun. But then since then, I picked up a Howa 1500 and 6.5 PRC. And I just rescued a heavy barreled Cryptek Highlander 1 in 308. Interestingly, it's the exact same action as my Howard Oryx in 308, but that one's in a MDT Oryx chassis versus this one's like a regular stock. Yeah, it's weird. Do your gun tournaments have any good recommendations for spotting scope phone adapters? So the cool thing is, if you're using a spotting scope, because you don't have to really worry about the eye relief on there, there's a bunch of adapters that you can use. I had the first one, which was the phone scope adapter, and you can buy that or just go on Amazon and just get any of those type of adapters and they'll work fairly easy. The challenging part that you're going to have is if you're trying to purchase an adapter for, if you're trying to get an adapter for, like through the scope there, because you have to mess around with the eye box and the eye relief, those are a pain in the butt. And I haven't like really found an amazing solution, except I don't have it here. But I started using it, which is it's not the phone scope. Oh God, I forgot the name of it. But I used it last time and they're on Instagram. And that one's actually pretty cool. So that's the one that goes sideways and you slide your phone into there and it works. You have the trigger cam, which has its own camera in there, but like the Bluetooth app and all of that is a pain in the butt. Now, if you want binos, here's a really cool one. So Sunway Photo has a new binocular adapter. Okay, so let me actually share the screen. And maybe I'll do like a group deal or something on these. So this is the adapter, and what's super cool about it is how easy it is that it works. So this is the one piece, and then you have another piece on there. So this mount goes around the ocular, and you have magnets on there. And then on your phone, it comes with this like regular magnetic piece that you clip on there. So you just stick it on one, and the other barrel goes around the lens. So your camera lens is going to look through there. And you can quickly and easily take it on and off because it's magnetic and it sticks really, really well. I got to check if I have any more of these. So I had some media samples that I brought to SHOT Show and I gave away a bunch of them. So you can buy either just the BA43 adapter or with the BTA01, which is this, and that is this piece right here. So it screws into the front of the binos, and then you have an arc on the bottom, so that's going to attach in there. So you can use my promo code, use code, if you go on sunwayphotos-store.com, you can use promo code SlavGuns. That's going to give you an additional 5% off, something like that. Is it 5 or 10? I always confuse it. 5% off. So yeah, that's a really cool adapter for them. But they don't have one. They don't have it yet for a spotting scope because basically you wouldn't be able to attach it, but it could work. Actually, I think I just got the idea for how to make it work too. That still makes it magnetic. Except because the cameras on a lot of the phones are in the edge, there wouldn't be enough to put around it. Yeah. So that's that guy. But I also have an Airy spotting scope, and it is fantastic. Really good values. Let me see if I have it. No, it's actually everything is upstairs in my. Maybe. Oh. Okay. Aha, I have my phone scope adapter. Okay. So this is the first one. This is the phone scope. So this twists. So this twist, and you have these pads in here that go in and out to adjust to the various eyepieces. Then what you'd have, this is attached. There's another piece that basically holds your cell phone in place. And then you just screw it on that way and it sticks on. And then your phone camera. So you have like a cell phone mount, and you would attach it around a phone, and it would look right through there, right in there. It is polymer. I'm not going to say, like, it used to be a thing, like one of the first solutions, and they had it for a bunch of different ones. They had like cases for the phones, but I would just recommend getting a universal one. And then there is one made out of metal. It is like a heavier one, but it's super expensive. I think it's Nova grade, I believe, that makes it. And I'll have to go back to the pictures, but I'm just going back to my wow, Rumble is like really delayed. I'm just going back to the B&H conference I went to. I believe, is it Leica or Swarovski? They have an adapter coming out as well, and it looked really, really good. I'll have to try to follow up on that. Writing it down now. All right. Buzz, yeah, it was approved, so you'll have it soon. All right. Cool. All right. It is almost 11. I am going to go, well, I guess it's 10, but 11. I am going to go walk the dog and then pass out. And then I'm going to have the videos for you. So there will be hold me accountable to this, but you're going to get at least 4 or 5 videos this week. And then hopefully one of the new ones. I'll make my editor work overtime, and I'm actually going to edit it myself. As always. So once again, you can go buy those tripods and go buy our patches. Ta-da. And we are going to hit it hard. So thank you guys. As always, I really appreciate everyone's help. Everyone's always popping on. I love the chats. And I'm going to see about trying to set up a live stream, so when we're at the range, you guys can kind of see what's happening. As long as there's not too many other people at the range, because I don't want to live stream when there's other people at the range and all of that fun stuff. So on that note, as always, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for the ideas and recommendations. Let me know on the idea series for trying out the different matches and what type of matches and disciplines we should try. And I will see you guys later on this week. And I think for the video premieres, we'll actually do a live stream for those as well. And the range day right now is planned for Wednesday. So as always, thank you for watching. Keep on squatting, and I'll see you in the next video linked up here.